Welcome back to the channel, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Like the title said, we're going to be putting in my new 16G turbo into my 99 Eclipse because, well, it's about time we finished up this project. We've got pretty much everything we need. We've got the turbo, we've got the gasket that I kind of forgot to order. We've got the install kit from Extreme PSI, a brand new P2P turbo blanket, and we're just about ready to go. I've been putting this project off because I had finals week, and then now we're in summer break. I also changed jobs, working full-time now. But I have some time, and my schedule has finally kind of evened itself out, so I'm gonna be able to work on my Eclipse regularly. So we're gonna jump right on into this. So first things first, we're gonna be putting the coolant lines onto the 16G. So what we end up using for the coolant lines on the 16G is actually the coolant lines that are off of the T25. So we reused the metal coolant lines that we took off the T25 and we put them on the 16G. Now, the way we do that is a little interesting. The way you get the T25 coolant lines to work on a 16G is you take the two little metal lines and you swap which side they go on. Allow me to demonstrate. So we have a coolant line right here. Obviously, it goes right here on the T25, bolts right up top there, has a screw that goes in there. Now, if we try to put it on the same side on this, it doesn't really work. Luckily, I've got this flipped over, and if you just kind of feed that in there, it's almost as if it was designed to work this way. Now, you are going to have to bend the lines a little bit, maybe even cut off the little hole right there, but other than that, this is how you do it. Make sure you replace the crush washers, and the Evo 3 install kit from Extreme PSI does come with the crush washers. All right, coolant lines are on there. They're probably gonna need a little bit more fine tuning, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Also, do keep in mind, they're supposed to be torqued down to about, I was told 25 to 36 foot-pounds, so I went ahead and put them down to about 30. So now that those are done, we're gonna go ahead and put on the O2 housing right there. At least I think it's called the O2 housing. Did I mention I'm a noob? All right, so the turbo is pretty much completely put together. We got the O2 housing on, coolant lines on. I even put on the oil inlet little nipple thing they give you. I'm not going to be able to use the feed line that the install kit gives you, and I'm going to show you guys why in just a second. But this is pretty much done, so we're going to go ahead and throw it on the car. Remember, when you're installing your turbo, don't use the single layer gasket that they give you. It's garbage. Use the multi-layer gasket. This Cerakote is really coming off, but that is because my manifold is a very used, cheap manifold. 40 bucks. I also put on the turbo blanket. Doesn't that just look so sweet? Look at that. You got all the fibers. This has like lava rock built into the threading and stuff, so it's like extra heat resistant. All right, so I got good news, and then I got bad news, and then I got some kind of good news. So the good news is I got the turbo one, finally, because it was actually kind of difficult, because with the turbo blanket, it kind of pushed up against more stuff. Long story short, it took a bit longer to get this on than I would like to, but it is on here. Now the bad news is this bolt kind of died. So I'm going to have to go buy one of these bolts, but I'll do that some other day. And the kind of good news is that a piece didn't break off in there. I just have to get kind of another bolt and then try again. So yeah, but as you guys can see, here's the fitment. With the coolant hoses, shouldn't be too terrible to get them on there. This is gonna need to be bent a little bit to match that, or I could take some excess off of here, like scoot it down a little bit. But this is what I was talking about with the oil line. So I could not get this thing off because it kind of goes down there and connects to another piece. I couldn't get that off. That was like tightened down by the hand of Zeus, and I could not defeat Zeus today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 1/4 inch of oil safe hose and just go from there to there, and that should work. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much all we got to do left is put these lines together, put all these lines together, put the oil feed line down there, bolt the exhaust back on, put all the piping together, radiator, and we'll be good to go. Word to the wise, if you make YouTube videos with your phone, it's good to make sure your phone is charged, because yeah, that helps. But in any case, we're gonna finish up the car today. So the turbo is pretty much on. Like I said before, one of the bolts decided to die on me, so I have spares and I'm going to replace it, but we're just gonna skip that for now because I don't want to have to deal with that. I went ahead and started to put the exhaust on. Just need to tighten it down. This is the right gasket. It just is a little girthy there. The hole in the center matches the size of the exhaust though, so that's good. Got that spot on. So yeah, once the exhaust is on, we just gotta throw all the piping back on for the intake and then start doing some vacuum lines and really just put everything back together. Turns out jacks are useful for more than just lifting cars. They can support your exhaust too to help you get your exhaust bolts back on. Or in my case, the exhaust stud, because the nut didn't want to come off, so I just had to take the whole stud out. Which was accidental, but it happened. Boom, that thing is on there. So the last thing we got to do before we start putting on all the intake piping and the boost controller, because I'm going to do that today as well, is the oil line that goes underneath. Now they do give you a new one that you can assemble with the install kit. I'm just going to reuse the old one and then use the gaskets and things that came with the install kit. All right, so this is the old piece that the original T25 would drain its oil through. This will work with the 16G. It bolts almost right up. This just will kind of bend a little bit more, which is fine because it's built to be bent. Also, I don't know what that's from. I may have done that, or it could have been the last person. I'm not sure. Anyways, so the 16G install kit from Extreme PSI does come with some hardware to put in like a new drain hose, but I'm just going to reuse the old thing because, I mean, it doesn't leak. It works fine, so I'm just going to reuse it. Thankfully, the install kit comes with new gaskets and new hardware, so we don't have to use the old bolts or anything like that. And, yeah. So the original line will work. I just had to drill a new hole because this is meant to fit on a T25, and the 16G is a little bit different. But other than that, this will work. And just like that, that is on. Hopefully it doesn't leak. Oh well, when I get this tuned up and, you know, the stage 3 clutch thrown in, I'm going to ask him to look over that stuff and fix any of my mistakes, because I don't want to have a massive oil leak, because those aren't fun. Those are not fun at all. I already had to fight oil leaks when I first bought this car. I don't want to have to do it again. But now is officially the time that we're going to start putting on the intake piping and everything else, and then we'll be good to go. So the piping that comes with the kit is pretty straightforward. You've got this J-pipe right here that basically bolts up right there, and the kit comes with the gasket. It comes with the bolts and everything, and then you've got a second J-pipe that bends and meets with the intercooler piping right there, and that also has a little bung that's welded in. And what you're supposed to do is thread in this little piece right here for a vacuum line. I'm gonna run that to my boost controller, and yeah, after that we just gotta throw in everything that was there before and we'll be good to go. So what I'm gonna do next is actually put in the intake and then the radiator and everything, and then I'll put in the boost control. The reason being is because I want the boost control to be easily accessible. So I'm gonna wait till everything's back in and then install the boost controller in a place where it'll be easy to get to. Just like that, everything is absolutely where it needs to be. I plugged this thing back in for the O2 sensor. I got the wastegate vacuum line going up through here to the boost controller. I know this is kind of a jankety place to put it, but I don't know. That was the best place to put it. And I bought this used, so I don't have any of the mounting hardware, but I mean, it stays in place when you try to change up the boost. And then I got it hooked up down there at the piping, if you can see that. And yeah, I think we're pretty much all good to go. Now I just got to throw the fluids in and take it down to Raven Fab and have the stage 3 clutch put in. That was absolutely exhausting. I took a long time to do that. And I still have a few things I need to do, like replace that bolt that decided to just strip out on me. So still got a few things to finish up. I hope this video helped. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe as well. That'd be super cool if you haven't already. But just like that, I'll see you guys next time.